Well, it's official. Bernie Sanders has announced his plans to run for president in 2020, joining a crowded field of candidates vying for the Democratic nomination. If the polls are any indication, Bernie Sanders finds himself near the front of the pack already, with higher name recognition than almost any other candidate in the race. But there's one thing Bernie must do before he can ethically run for president again. He must resign his seat in the U.S. Senate. When Bernie Sanders was running for president in 2016, he made a habit of absenteeism in the Senate. In fact, he only showed up for 29% of votes in 2016. Now, this type of absenteeism might be fine if you work in Washington, D.C., but those of us who live and work in the real world know what would happen to us if we missed work that often. We would be fired. But not only is Bernie Sanders not showing up for work, he's spending all his time auditioning for his next job while still collecting a paycheck from his current one. And this has a real impact on the people of Vermont. While other states may be able to make up for this lack of representation in Congress, Vermont only has another senator and one representative. Vermonters suffer from this, as we now have lost a third of our effective representation. And it's not like Bernie Sanders is finding other ways to be an effective advocate for Vermont. In 2016, the senator scheduled exactly zero, that's right, 0 public events in Vermont, showing up here only to campaign for his chosen acolytes in state politics. He also refused nearly every single interview request from local media in Vermont, and didn't speak to the state's largest independent paper, 7 Days, for nearly 4 years. This type of inaccessibility to your constituents is not consistent with our system of democratic representation. If Bernie Sanders wants to spend his time running around the country on a presidential campaign, that's his right. But he should have the integrity not to collect a paycheck for a job he's not doing. Bernie Sanders, it's time to step down.